I finally did it. I couldn't help myself, bro. I got 2,000 nits on my Samsung S95C and I'm sweating right now. This thing looks out of this world, okay? This is no longer an S95C. Imagine all the brightness that my LG C1 has. I just added that brightness to the S95C. So that's how big the difference is. Now listen to me, I don't want you to feel bad if you have one of these TVs. It looks amazing out of the box. You don't have to do this. You don't have to do everything I'm going to share with you in this video. If you're happy with it, enjoy it. And listen, even if it looks so much better and so much brighter, you will get used to it. That's how our nervous system works. So after a couple weeks, it's going to maybe lose that effect. So it might not be worth the risk for you because you are risking on breaking the TV. Basically, you can kill some of the pixels. Something very bad can happen, okay? So if you're going to follow me on this one, do it at your own risk. But let me tell you this. If you are thinking and upgrading your TV, don't do it. You don't, this is it. This is all you need, okay? So that would be my recommendation. If you want an upgrade, a massive upgrade, follow me on this one. I'm going to show you, okay? This is not like a couple settings to improve, the colors, or this is massive, okay? This is serious, what we're going to do to this TV right now. Especially if you have an S90C, that's a second generation QDOLED, the change is going to be brutal, okay? Absolutely gigantic, okay? This is incredible. But I don't want you to feel like, oh man, I'm missing out if I don't do this. I promise you, you do this, at the beginning it's gonna be like, wow, this is unbelievable. But then you're gonna get used to it, okay? I actually call some people, hey, come here, take a look at this. And they were like, holy crap, this is too much. On a dark room, this is eye-searing, okay? It's just way too much brightness. So it might not even be for you. But the reality is, once you have perfect blacks, more brightness and more colors, it just better. It just looks better. So that's why you would want to have more brightness, because it looks better. We pay for more brightness. That's why you would get a brighter TV in the future. It just looks better. So you don't need it. You can get it on your own TV. So this would be perfect to do right before you're thinking, oh, I need an upgrade. Do this before. That would be my recommendation. But if you want to do it right now, like I did it immediately. I couldn't help myself. And let me tell you, I am kind of, oh man, I missed out on that S95C. I never really enjoy it. I immediately jumped to this thing. This is not an S95C anymore. This is something else. So I could never really get to understand the beauty of the S95C. This is like something. Imagine all the brightness of my LG C1. I just added that to the S95C. That's just monumental difference. So now, before we go into the service menu and make all the changes I'm going to share with you, let's do this. This is my recommendation. Let's change the settings of the TV to reduce the likelihood of killing a pixel, basically. So a TV calibrator shared in one of our live streams that he did this, and one of the pixels basically got stuck on red. It died. It was like, too much. Okay? So he couldn't do it. He had to go back and just get the regular brightness of the TV. So I was thinking, oh, how can we maybe reduce the chance of that happening? I strongly believe that these settings I'm gonna share with you before the upgrade are going to reduce the chance of you having an issue when doing this. But do it at your own risk. I did it successfully. I checked the screen with full screen colors, with full screen pictures of the grayscale. All my pixels are honky-dory. Okay? No issues whatsoever. And actually, one of the biggest advantages that I saw on my specific Samsung S95C is that the complaints I had about the calibration that was looking way too dark at the very beginning of the grayscale, and then it was way too bright, and so I had to reduce the ST2084 setting to, because it was looking kind of washed out. All those issues fixed. Okay, it looks bright enough at the very beginning and it no longer looks washed out. I don't even have to touch the ST2084 anymore. It's amazing, it's perfect, and it was definitely worth the risk for me. Okay, but you do it at your own risk. So now let me share with you the settings we're gonna be using for this. The first thing is, let's change to HDMI console mode. Okay, so we're gonna come here and change to console mode because I am going to recommend you to use clear motion. And the reason is, right after we finish the changes here on the service menu, when you close the service menu, you get a full white screen, at least when you do it with the Colorcontrol app, which is what I'm gonna recommend you. And that's a full white screen, you're releasing all that brightness for the first time. Maybe that's what's gonna kill that pixel, okay? So I think if you use this clear motion setting, because the pixels are flickering, they're turning on and off, I believe that's going to reduce the chance of a pixel just dying and getting stuck, okay? So do it as a warm-up, okay? So we're gonna reduce the brightness, we're gonna use clear motion, and then after we do the changes on the service menu, we're gonna start playing a game or watching a movie or something, and then slowly we're gonna release more brightness and more brightness until at the end we just unveil that, okay? So yeah, we're gonna come here, game mode settings, game motion plus. We're going to use clear motion, and then we're going to come here and we're going to turn off peak brightness, okay? Let's turn off peak brightness. As you can see here, it is off. Now I am also using custom BT2020, a static tone mapping, warm 2, and the colors on 18, that doesn't really matter that much. And we are going to reduce the contrast, okay? Very important. We're gonna reduce the contrast to 21. Now, why 21? Because this is reducing the ABL significantly. After we do the changes on the service menu, with these settings, you get no ABL up to 80%, okay? So this is like a very stable brightness for the TV, okay? Like, let's take it easy. So after you set all those settings, let me show you this, the colors, I'm gonna show you, okay, color space settings, custom BT2020. Okay, so we come here, we set it to custom BT2020. Okay, so after you set those settings on the TV, you're going to download the Colorcontrol app, link in the description of the video, okay? So with this Colorcontrol app, and let me change my camera settings so you can see this. With this Colorcontrol app, we are going to access the service menu. And here, let me change the camera settings so you can see this. Okay, so here I have a guide, a step-by-step of everything we are going to do. So you don't get confused maybe, or I mispronounce a number or something you don't understand clear from my spelling. Get it from here. Okay, we're going to follow these steps one by one. So you get the Colorcontrol app, you go here to Samsung controller, and we're going to add the TV. Okay, so you have to turn on the Wi-Fi of your TV, connect the TV to the same internet as your computer. Okay, you can use a laptop or a desktop computer, it doesn't matter. So you're gonna turn on Wi-Fi on your TV, on your PC, same Wi-Fi. You're going to click add here. So we're going to add the TV manually. And it is gonna ask you for your IP address and MAC address, okay? Get that information, copy that here, add the TV, and now it's gonna ask you, the TV is gonna ask you, hey, do you want this Colorcontrol app to have access to the TV? You're gonna say yes with your remote, yes, and now you are connected. Then you're going to come here to settings here, and you're going to check this box that says show advanced actions under the expert button. Okay, then we're gonna come here to expert, service menu, factory menu, next, and we're going to access the service menu. So see, it's asking me right now, allow. Now we're gonna enter the service menu. Let's wait for it. It didn't work. Let me close the program and open it again. Let's go for it. Service menu. Allow. We're in. So now this is the service menu. The first thing that we're going to do here is easy. Let's check the hours. This is interesting for many people, want to know what are the hours of their panel. So for that, we're gonna come here to SVC, and we're gonna come here to info. As you can see here, my S95C has 57 hours. I never experienced how it really was. Okay, I just unleashed it completely. So 57 hours, interesting. And here you can also see the amount of times you access the service menu. Now I'm gonna make a separate video where I'm going to focus in showing you how to erase everything you did on the service menu. So if you wanna claim the warranty or something, there's no way they can know what you did, okay? So there's a way to do that. I'm gonna see if I can figure out a way to show you that without actually doing it, because I don't want to do it. You have to reset everything. So yeah, if you're worried, concerned about the warranty and all of that, you're risking it for sure, but know that there is actually a way you can erase everything you did. But here, factory entry numbers 4, okay? There's a log where they can see everything you did on the service menu, just to let you know that. So that's the first thing we can see. Then the other thing you can do, and this is highly recommended, I would definitely do it regardless. Even if you don't want to get more brightness, disable the dimming. The ASBL dimming, this is dimming to protect. Yeah, you do have to be a little bit more careful, because if you have a full screen picture or something and you just leave it there with no screensaver, it's not going to dim, okay? So you have to be a little bit more careful. But if you have a screensaver on the TV or on your PC, it's not gonna be a problem. So this is something that I would definitely disable, this dimming to protect. So for that, we're gonna come here to see where it was. We're gonna come here back. So we go back, and we're going to step here on advance, and we're gonna click the volume up button for 5 seconds. And after doing that, you're gonna get more options here. Okay, so now let me see where it was, that ASBL. So screensaver brightness from 7 to 0. Okay, I didn't actually put where that was, so I have to check. I have to search where that was. Let me see. I forgot. It's not here. We'll figure it out. Oh, here, QD option. So it is here under control. You go to control. I forgot to put that in writing. So you go in control and you go to QD option. And here where it says a screensaver brightness. This screensaver brightness originally is going to be on 7. So I recommend you to take a picture. Okay, take a picture. It was on 7, so we're gonna lower that down to 0. That's to eliminate ASBL. And then we are going to first correct the EOTF tracking. And the reason is we have to change the calibration of the TV because we're releasing more brightness. So if you just increase the brightness of the TV, it's gonna look washed out because it's going to over-track the EOTF. Everything is gonna look like blown out. So the first thing we're gonna do is we're going to correct that EOTF tracking before we release more brightness. So for that, we're going to come here to WB. We're gonna come here to WB movie, and we're going to turn this on. So it is originally is off. We're going to turn it on, and we're going to change here the mode to movie HDR. And make sure when you access the service menu, you have HDR on, okay? So we're gonna select warm 2, and we're gonna come here, and we're gonna change all these values right here. So now the original values are, let me move this to show you that. Here are the original values. 100 for this peak W. Okay, so you can see here, 100 for this peak W. So we're going to increase it from 100 to 175. This HM Pat peak W was originally 130. We're going to increase it to 185. This HM Compic W was originally 95. We're going to increase it to 175. And this HW Pat Pick with plus was originally 120. We're going to increase it to 185. So now, why is that? Why you are increasing it in that amount? Well, because we are increasing the brightness in a similar percentage. So the brightness increase is about the same percentage increase as this number. If you calculate, and you're gonna see that now. So now the next thing we're gonna do is we're going to go back now, and we're gonna go to EPA and increase this ANAPIC 1 and 2. So originally for the S95C, that is 667, okay? Now if you have an S90C, that's gonna be like 558, if I remember correctly. And you can still increase it all the way to 1023. So 1023 is the maximum. So you click on it and you increase it all to the maximum. So it's not gonna go higher than that, okay? It doesn't go higher than that. It goes lower, but it doesn't go higher than that, okay? So you go back and you do the same with this one. Now, if you calculate from 667 to 1023, what is the percentage increase? Okay, you calculate that. I mean, we can do that. I mean, that's like 35%, I think. So, that's at the top of my head. So then from 120 to 185, that's about the same increase, same percentage increase. So that's why it makes sense. We're getting more brightness. We need to correct the EOTF tracking. So we do the same to the EOTF tracking. So now that it is going to look different to the way it was out of the box, because the way it was on my S95C out of the box, it was looking a little bit washed out, and I had to reduce the ST2084 to -1 or even -2 to get it looking similar to my LGC1 when using HGIG. Now, after doing these changes, it just looks perfect to me. Absolutely perfect. It no longer looks washed out. I have no complaints with the calibration. Maybe at the very beginning of the grayscale, maybe it could be a little bit brighter. But it might be just because my Samsung S95C is like brand new, so it might be crushing blacks a little bit because it needs to be used more. Okay, so that might be perfectly normal, and it might be fixed with use. Okay, so that's it. That's all you have to do. Now you come here to the Colorcontrol app, and we are going to click on next. So it says here, if the service menu open and you want to access to advanced settings, you click next. So basically, instead of holding the volume up button here under advanced, you could just click here and it would show you those advanced settings. And then after that, it says here, if you want to exit the service menu, you can just exit. But what you should do is reboot. If you did the changes, you want to reboot the TV, so you would select here reboot, next, and let it reboot. Otherwise, click exit, next, and now you're gonna see a white screen. Boom! See, that's dangerous right there. First time ever, boom! All the brightness. You get 310 nits full screen with these modifications. It is nuts. 310 nits full screen. Absolutely incredible. So you don't want that for the first time. You want to be using these BFI settings. In my opinion, I strongly recommend you to do that. So now what are we gonna do? We're just gonna play a game with the settings I share with you. The clipping point is like 3000 nits. Let's see if this gets adjusted now. You see, sometimes what happens with this S95C is that it is a little bit buggy when it comes to clipping at the point that it's supposed to clip. So you might have to open a game or something different for it to catch up. So for example, I opened Red Dead Redemption 2 and that gets fixed. Okay? Actually, I'm gonna show you. Let me pause the video and show you that. Well, it's either I forgot or this is kind of buggy right now, but with a contrast at 25, the clipping point is 3000. Okay? But that's not really important because we're not gonna use those settings anyway. This is just to let it warm up. So my recommendation would be, let's just play a game with these settings, okay? And we're going to slowly increase the brightness, okay? So we're gonna come here, just play something, just play for a while, just go play your game, let it warm, and then we're gonna do this. We're going to increase the contrast. You see, with this contrast setting, I want to use it with 3000 nits. So right now I am using the Major Paint the Cactus add-on to reshape. So I set it to 3000 nits because that's the clipping point. Then if I change the contrast, I have to check with the test pattern to see what is the clipping point. So right now it's 3000 nits. If I go here, and increase the contrast. Then we change to push more brightness. So we always maxing out the brightness. Then you come here, you increase the contrast. Now you see the clipping point changes dramatically. Okay, actually below this one. So we would have to open this one, for example. So open this one instead. So now the clipping point is like 850. So then we go to the game and we change this to 850. 850. Keep playing the game for a while. You let it warm up. Then you go and increase the peak brightness. I'm doing it fast now because I already did it, but you know, just take your time. So when you increase peak brightness, you check again the tone mapping. Link in the description of the video to all these test patterns I'm using. Get this out of the way. Now the clipping is not happening within 1000 nits. So we open this one, for example. Now it is clipping this is like buggy. I mean, this was not the points where I was seeing the clipping, but it's not relevant. It doesn't really matter. But right now it's clipping like at 3300 again. So we would go to the game and do that, 3300. Okay. And now right now what's happening is the TV is pushing all the brightness already, but because you are using clear motion, you don't see it because it's flashing, okay? It's flickering. So that flickering, I believe, is protective, okay? But the TV is already maxed out. The thing is, the pixels are going on and off, okay? So you see half the brightness, actually. But it's already like working up to that level. So then finally just turn it off. And I would have to change my camera settings so you can actually see this now because it is so bright. A static tone mapping, peak brightness high, no clear motion. Now we would have to change the settings. The clipping point is actually 1850, and that's not what I see here. I have to figure out how to consistently get the TV to clip where it's supposed to clip. I haven't figured that out yet. So yeah, this is not expected. It is supposed to be clipping at 1850 actually. So let me do this. Let me turn it off, back on, and fix it so I can actually show you how it looks like. Okay, so I restarted the PC, turning on and off the TV. It is kind of buggy. I have to figure out what's going on, why sometimes that happened. Maybe because I opened two games at the same time and the TV doesn't know what's going on. I don't know, but it is right now clipping where it is supposed to clip. So after you apply these changes, the clipping point is 1850. 1850 nits or 1900 nits if the game doesn't give you that option, 1900 nits. So for example, this 1800 here is flashing a little bit. So it is clipping here right at 1900. So this one is flashing, the red is clipping very close to, and the blue is not even clipping. So the red is clipping a little bit before, right here at 1700. So that's very, very good with the color and 18. So then the game, you're gonna use RTX HDR, the tweaks that I share with you, link in the description of the video. Or you can use this major paint the cactus and just change the brightness. Or if you have native HDR, just change the brightness to 1850 or 1900. Now let me tell you, of course, my camera cannot show you what I see in front of me. Okay, impossible, absolutely impossible. The only thing I can show you is the difference versus the C1. It's absolutely gigantic. I might do a separate video about that. The C1 in comparison looks monochrome. That's how much more dimmer it is. I mean, we increased the brightness like 800 nits more for the peak brightness. It is absolutely insane. And full screen is more than double the brightness of my C1. It's incredible. And of course, we have all that brightness with color. It's not brightness with whites, okay? This is, the colors are brighter. These aliens here are looking nuclear, okay? It's like ferociously colorful. It's absolutely incredible. But you're gonna get used to it, that's for sure. So the first time you use this, you're gonna be like, wow, this is unbelievable. But you're gonna get used to it, and you have to consider that you're risking, you're risking your TV by doing this. Is it worth it? For me, it was totally. It was the reason why I got this TV, because I knew I was gonna be able to do that. Now, of course, you need to be mindful. You're maxing out the brightness of your TV, so be mindful of the HUD elements. For example, this game is very good because you see this HUD is moving. Every time you move the camera, look, all the HUD is moving. Everything is moving. You see? It's moving completely. So that is fantastic. You're not going to get burning at all with this game. No way. You can play it 24/7, not an issue. But if you're playing native HDR game, reduce the brightness of the HUD if you have the option. Otherwise, if you can turn it off, even there are some games where you don't need the HUD, like Spider-Man or something like that. You can just turn it off and play the whole game without HUD. That would be better. But especially when we are using Auto HDR, RTX HDR, Major Paint the Cactus, all of that, and the game is originally SDR, we have this HUD pushing insane brightness. And if you're playing that game all the time, 24/7, every day, I mean, you don't want to play Genshin Impact with that UID number, which is this big on the screen, and it never goes away. All the time, 2,000 nits. You're getting 2,000 nits on that. You don't want to play that game. So you have to be mindful. Of course, you can play for a moment, but unless you figure out a way of getting rid of that, yeah, I would not do it. So, but you could, for example, let's say you don't want to push this kind of brightness on every single game. You could do this for those, games. You could do this. Turn off peak brightness. When you turn off peak brightness, I'm gonna show you what happens. You see the clipping point was like 1900. If you turn off peak brightness, I'm gonna show you the clipping point. It's like 850. Now we turn it off. Let's go to the test pattern. Now this pattern is all clipping. So we need a new one. We need a different test pattern. We need this one from 240 to 1000. Let's try this one. Okay, so here we see that it is clipping at 650. That's not right. That's not right. Yeah, I have to figure this out, man. It changes all the time. I have to figure this out and make a video about it, because this is not what I saw today. But anyway, right now it's clipping at 650, so you would go to your game and change it to 650. So you see it looks blown out right now. So you come here, 650, boom, and just play a specific game that has that HUD element with the brightness. But yeah, it was 850 today when I tested that. But I was on PC mode actually. I was not in console mode. So maybe that's why it's different. So yeah, I have to figure that out. But you can always check. That's the thing. So yeah, that would be my recommendation. If you have those problematic games and you don't want to have to go to service menu and change everything again just to play that game, that's what I would do. That's what I would recommend you. And you get less ABL. I think I tested with the ABL test, and you don't get dimming up to 30% with that peak brightness off and this mod. So that's great. It gives you a more consistent experience and you still have those QDOLED colors, so that's still good. So let me know your thoughts and opinions. I'm gonna have all of this in writing or links in the description of the video, but let me know if you have any questions.